Friends, good morning. And I am from the Sarv Adi Dal. This is a political body which represents the interests of Christian community in Chattisgarh. It's a recently formed body, and we have been addressing various issues from time to time which concerns the minority community in Chattisgarh and at large in India. Friends, we heartily welcome the press release of the rapporteurs of UN, which have recently released a report on USCIRF and how the community affects, how this report affects the Christian community in Chattisgarh. This is what I am here to address to you today. Enlightened at large, this is the main purpose of this episode by which we are coming to you. The first thing which I would like to mention over here is the atrocities. Of course, there's a physical part to it, and that physical part has got another ramifications. There is a different method of addressing those problems, and there is a criminal code which takes into place. Apart from that, then we have got this intrinsic method of targeting the minorities. This violence is not normally seen. It's not visible at all, because you don't see any blood flowing, but such policies are created, such types of atmosphere is created, such types of laws are made, such types of rules and regulations which are made to target the minority communities at large. This is what is the problem which our community faces today, and this is what I'll be addressing you to in this morning over here through this episode. The first part what I'll be touching today is about the PISA Act. It has found a lot of mention over here, and let me go back to for enlightenment of the people who have not been aware of this acts over here. I'm going back a little into the history of this thing. We go back to the formation of our constitution in 1950. In this constitution, amendment 4 and 5 were made, by which a special protection to all the tribal societies were given, such as their land rights, their culture, protection of many other things. So in short, what I am addressing today is about the land rights. So 4 and 5 amendments, they give a special protection to the tribal communities, by which any development work, management of all their administrative issues over there is all done by the Gram Sabha, or it is a local body which is formed under the Panchayat Raj Adhiniyam of 1993, which was brought in by Rajiv Gandhi, and that was the purpose of this Gram Panchayat Adhiniyam, to empower the panchayats in a 3-tier legal or management system, and to empower the powers given in our amendment 4 and 5. Because of that, this act was brought in 1993. Now this Panchayat Raj Adhiniyam is already in force in many of the states, also in our Chattisgarh. Now cascading down onto this thing, there is a PISA Act. This PISA Act is Panchayat Extension to Scheduled Areas. Panchayat's extension to scheduled areas. Now, scheduled areas is a matter of great concern for us, because most of our tribal Christians, neo-converts who have first time taken up have adopted Christian religion, they are under fire. They are under a lot of trouble because of these laws. This is what I'll be talking to you today. So PISA is a state act which was recently brought in, say about 3 months back, in a hurry. And this PISA Act was being tried to be enforced by many governments in the past, but there were certain anomalies because of which the governments were not touching this act very much. But our government over here, I don't know, in their unholy haste, they have enforced that law over here that's known as the PISA Act. Now the PISA Act, I'll go back with some details, especially in our Chattisgarh and especially in our Bastar area. Chattisgarh has got 2 regions, one in the north and one in the south. In the north, we have got Ambikapur, where about say 30 to 40% overall Christians reside, converted tribals, and that is the same demographics in the Bastar area. Of course, the figures may vary from district to district, and some districts even have 70% to 80% tribal Christians. So this is the demographic status of both the places where tribal Christians Christians reside, and their rights are affected by these acts. About a year back, there was a movement started that Christians won't be allowed to enter any of the tribal villages. Now, this found a lot of force, but it was an illegal force, and that was thwarted down, and much could not be done. But last 2-3 months, we have seen since the formation of the PISA Act, lot of problems our community has been facing. The first community, the practical problem which has faced was in Dantewada and Bijapur districts, where huge hoardings had come up, and over there that no pastors and no Christians will be allowed to enter their villages without the prior permission of the Gram Panchayats. Now, this posters, we challenged it in the High Court, and High Court, yes, favorably did listen to us and issued an order that as per the Article 19 of the Indian Constitution, free movement in any part of the country is mandatory, is our fundamental rights. So, nobody can stop this, and then the High Court, Honorable High Court also ordered the posters to be removed, and then also ensured through the administration that proper law and order situation is maintained, and right provided in Article 19 is not trampled upon. This has happened about, say, 6 months back in Chattisgarh. So that is the intention. Now what has happened is this act has come into force. Because of this PISA Act, what I have been telling time and again, because of this act coming into force, a lot of people are believing. Now, law is one part, but common public sense or public mensa is the another part. Now, public mensa in our areas, tribal areas, strongly believe that all that land belongs to them, that does not belong to the Christians, so they are free to kick them, kill them, loot them, harvest their crops forcibly and whatnot. So, this is what is happening. This is a direct cascading effect, downside effect of the PISA Act. And now because of this, the atrocities are so high that people are just being thrown out of the villages, the dead bodies are being thrown out, and I won't be reporting about the atrocities and everything, but now there is one particular force which is working over there, or it is an idea which has been trying to be implanted upon the into the brains of the mensa or the public overall understanding is that the land does not belong to the Christians. Why? Because they have converted themselves from adopted new religion, so this land is no more theirs. Now, if you go into the land rights in the tribal landers, as per the scheduled caste commissioner, SC and ST commissioner, there was an order passed, and where it has clearly held that land is not a property, the tribal land is not a property of the tribals, it is their ancestral heritage by which they can maintain their livelihood. This was the contention of that order 5 by the ST commissioner, scheduled type commissioner. So now over here, and that is in force. It is in force that government lands or any land over there, the tribal lands in the tribal areas cannot be purchased and sold because they are not a property. This is the understanding, or this is the system which is in force over there now. So basically now land is not a property, any other person cannot purchase it, and it will not be treated a property. So now, because it is an ancestral heritage, so that goes down from generation to generation for their livelihood. This is the system which is in force in our tribal areas over here. Now, once we are uprooted of our land rights, where does that Christian tribal go? He has got absolutely no place to go. He is a stateless citizen. He doesn't have land. He cannot own a land in the tribal area. Then where does he go? What is his source of livelihood? They have been turned overnight into paupers or refugees. All they can do is pick up a begging bowl and go to the streets of the towns and start begging. This is the status what they will be reduced to, and that is our fear by which I am addressing you and the community at large. So now once our land rights are taken away from us, This is the status that we will be just absolutely nowhere. All the tribal Christians in Chhattisgarh will be absolutely nowhere. That is the situation which haunts us. Where will they go? What will they do? Their houses will be uprooted. Their fields will be taken away from them. All the tribal benefits, whatever they are getting, whatever the fruits of the state which flows down to the tribal people, that will be taken away from them. So that is the ultimate result which we can end up into, and that is our basic fear. Now let's come down to the fact that this is not only in words. The strength of law is with those people, and what is being done now is that the dead bodies taken out from the graves and being thrown out is not a simple exercise. It has got nothing to do with the culture, it has got nothing to do with the people over there or their feelings or their faith or anything. The basic intention of this particular act of throwing out the dead bodies, or Christian dead bodies, from the graveyards and throwing them into rivers or throwing them into some other third place or out of the town they want them to be buried. This is a sort of declaration that land does not belong to the Christians, even though the law is not in force, but this public mense is already being hammered down onto the brains of the public at large, and this is our fear. What troubles us. Now, if we look back to Manipur as well, Manipur High Court issued an order recently. There were mass killings. Hundreds and hundreds of people had died, have been killed, not died, have been massacred. So now they didn't have any proper place to bury them. Proper burial rites could not be taken up. So the churches over there, they dug up a big mass grave, and in the mass grave they wanted to bury 35 dead bodies of the Christians which are identified and convert it into a mass grave. The matter of concern over here is that Manipur High Court then issued a diktat or an order that this land belongs to the tribal community and hence Christians can't be buried. This is the High Court of Manipur speaking, and this is alarming. From when the land has started becoming of tribals or non-tribals or of any community, land in India is totally is owned by the state and given to the Union of States to manage them. This is the system which is being followed, out of which there are many other laws and many other differentiations, how private land is to be owned, how ownership is to do it and all that. But the basic fundamental of this ownership of land is not the property of any particular tribe, community, religion or any sect. That is the fundamental belief of the Constitution of India. High Court issues an order that the land belongs to the tribes. This is alarming. It's a big anomaly. I believe that higher courts will rectify that thing, but the damage has already been done. Those 35 bodies could not be buried. Whatever they did, I don't know. I am not aware what happened to them. But now this justification has also seeped down to Chattisgarh. Now Chattisgarh also believes that the land does not belong to Christians, it belongs to the communities, because even Manipur High Court has said that. This is the public understanding which is being inculcated and developed. And that is the reason why our dead bodies are being thrown out on the states and nobody is prepared to address to them. There are issues, there are so many incidents by which we have been telling the government and everything. So both the governments, I mean the BJP in the center and the Congress in the government in the state, nobody is bothered about this secular emphasizing of the secular rights in our country. They are all praying as a second fiddle to the public in an intention to garner votes. One is pandering to the tribes, other is pandering to the Hindutva, hard Hindutva, one is pandering to the soft Hindutva. So these are the things which are going on, friends, and this is a matter of alarm under which the SPISA Act I have shared with you. So it is very important that right-thinking government, or if democracy is to be established in India and fascism has to be thwarted, it is taking up its head over here, that has to be condemned. And there are platforms on a state level, on a national level, on an international level, and I'm happy that all these platforms on their own are active, and we are really happy to hear that USCIRF has taken some cognizance of the whole issue. But these are the dynamics of the particular act of throwing out the dead bodies, and this is the result what we may end up with. We may be homeless citizens, we may be citizens without a nationality. That is our concern, and we do hope, and this is an appeal to all understanding people. I don't have much knowledge, in-depth knowledge of the law, I don't have much knowledge, but as a social worker I am aware that what sort of ground feelings are going around. I really hope and pray and expect that all the intelligentsia of the world across understands this problem, understands these deep machinations, and there have been so many issues coming up, so many not issues, but so many organizations. I mean, all right-wing organizations have been strongly supporting this PISA Act, even though it's not in force in many states. Now, I don't know after the elections what's going to happen. At elections, we may have some breather of 1 or 2 months where these laws could not be enforced. Once the model code of conduct is employed, naturally all these things are stopped. We actually are praying that as fast as possible the MCC comes into force, so that we can at least breathe in little freedom whatever we get for 2 or 3 months. So this is the dilemma, this is the problem which our community in Chattisgarh faces. I pray and hope that you all people will understand this issue, study it deeper, and take it to their logical conclusion in the respective platforms. And I wish you all best and wish you all the best. Thank you.